Welcome to Only a Podcast. Two blokes upside down and many miles from home talk about popular culture and unpopular culture too. Music, books, films, the news, what we had for dinner last night, anything goes. Apart from politics, probably. Triskaidekaphobics, leave the room immediately. This is episode 13 of Only a Podcast. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us. Hello, Captain.
No, Captain. I was going to say that. Anyway,
I know.
I
thought I'd throw you a curveball there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Triskaidekaphobics. This could be episode 12A for you, if you really want to call it that. We're not. Or we could have missed it out and gone to 14, but that's far too confusing.
No, touch wood, I'm not superstitious.
No.
Yeah. So episode 13, we are recording this on the 13th, which is a coincidence again, episode 13.
Yeah.
I've just moved into my new house, and you never guess what the door number is.
Is it?
35. 35.
Oh,
yeah, that didn't work, did it? But in terms of the number 13, I was born on the 13th of May, and I was a home birth, as we did in them days, before hospitals were invented. I was born at home, and my house number was number 13, so I was born at number 13 on the 13th. So, 13 played a part in my life, and I was 13.
Well, who knows?
You're gone.
Who knows how your life would have gone if you'd have been born at number 14?
No, that was Harry. That was Harry across the road, so that would have been weird being born at his house. But I looked up loads of facts, just Googled interesting facts about the number 13 that I was going to read out today, but I can't be bothered. A lot of them are mathematical. It's a prime number, as we know. It's a Wilson prime number.
Is it?
Yeah, there's only 3 of them known in existence, 5, 13 and 537 or something like that. But I looked up what is a Wilson prime number, and too confusing for me. So you have to look that up yourselves, folks. It's also an EMERP number, which is EMERP, which is prime backwards. So it's a prime number. If you reverse the digits, it's also a prime.
Crikey.
Yeah.
I kind of gave up on it, because it's unlucky for some, but it's lucky for other people. So I thought, well, then on balance, should we take this number seriously at all, really?
No, we should.
It's on average, it works out as normal. Yeah. So, I stopped there and then.
Yeah, exactly. Stuff it. I can't be bothered. But it's given us 2.5 minutes of content for the podcast, so we probably won't move on anymore. You said 12A. I used to work in a building in London, down at London Bridge. I was up on the top floor, big building. And then that never had a 13th floor in the elevator. It had a 12A. But that's the only time I've ever seen that. I think other countries maybe are a bit more into that. Load of old nonsense, really, ain't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, so what you been up to then since episode 12?
What, culturally wise or whatever?
Culturally wise.
I've been doing a lot of physio. I do a lot of physio because my shoulder's a bit, a bit wobbly because I'm getting old.
Yep.
My back muscles are deteriorating, so my arms are trying to compensate. And but that's boring. So we'll move on, really. I've been watching the first 3 episodes of Slow Horses. Oh yeah, is what I've been doing. Fantastic stuff. We talked about it in the last episode a bit, and it hasn't let me down at all.
Good. Yeah,
it's great. There's a two-handed bit where Gary Oldman and Christian Scott Thomas are sitting on a bench in London discussing everything that's gone wrong over the previous few hours and whose fault it is, which is one of the finest bits of TV I've ever seen. Between them, it's just great.
Cool.
It's great. I'm not going to do any spoilers. I'm not going to go any further than that. But it was a recommendation before I'd seen it, and it's a solid recommendation now.
Okay, I will definitely get into that. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, I haven't really been. Well, as I said, I moved house about 5 or 6 days ago, so we all know what that's like. So not much time for relaxing. But I have a little confession to make, and I've touched on this before in one of our very early episodes about how I can get hooked into really bad quality television, and that has happened to me. Married at First Sight, Australia.
Australia?
Yeah, the Australian one. That's what's been on over here. And it's been a long day, and you have your dinner and you do the washing up and you sit down That's just what you need, isn't it? Well, it isn't what you need. It's really not what you need.
It's not what you need. No,
it's not. But that finished this week, thank God. So I've vowed not to get into those things again. In the new house now, we've got a spare room, so I've got it's my room. It's full of my stuff. It's full of guitars and keyboards and all sorts of stuff like that. So I've got my own little I won't say man cave, because that makes me sound like a wanker, but study. I've got my study.
Okay.
So I can just take off if the girls are watching any crap on the TV, and maybe write and record that album I've been wanting to do for 30 years. Maybe I'll get that done this year, eh? Yeah. So
with maths, I can't be doing any of the maths. I've blocked hashtags on all my socials.
Yeah, good idea.
I still have the energy to get up and stab the remote if it looks like it's going to be on. So
so you're not a fan then, just to be clear?
Not as such, no. Or pretty much any of that kind of.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
12 youngsters who want to make a few thousand.
Yeah,
and say anything for it in a room followers. Kind of thing.
Yeah, it's fatally flawed because we looked up. One of my daughters looked up what's been the success rates. I think there's been 10 series of it or something like that. There's been 70 something couples throughout all that, and I think only 6 ever made it. Still together.
They made it into the lower levels of influencer. Dumb.
No, I
guess
made
the
it
fact that you've been on it,
as in stayed married. That's what I mean. But it's fundamentally flawed, right? Because you got these people that can't find a partner, they can't make a relationship, they can't all that stuff. So they go on television and marry a complete stranger. There's probably a reason why they're not married. I'm not a psychologist, but there's got to be something a little bit wrong with all these people. Or they're just doing it for the fame, maybe.
It's like all these programs. You can imagine the researchers at the start of a series, way before, interviewing a number of people. And if a certain number of those people are sort of level-headed, attractive, educated, my prejudice coming out here, obviously. But if they're people who look like they're going to kick off on a television program, then they're the ones that are going to get.
Of course they are
employed.
Of course they are.
If your grand designs researchers are looking at a guy and thinking, well, this is a total disorganized mess.
Yeah,
right. That makes good TV. Let's have that.
Exactly.
Let's not have someone who's good at project managing, Excel spreadsheets, accounting, and even a bit of building. Yeah. No, that's far too boring.
Let's get a deluded fool and watch them spend $1 million more than they intended to. Yeah.
Yeah. It makes TV more
of course it does.
Interesting.
It's almost car crash TV, isn't it? But
and I'm done with it. I'm absolutely done with it. It's kicked me off on the lauding of the crap, basically.
Yeah.
I mean, it spread through to all sorts of things, the fumbling along of the Top Gear presenters. I mean, perhaps not so much these days, because I have watched the odd one with Freddie Flintoff and the other boys in. But previous to that, Clarkson et al. Have made entire careers and pots of money on being slightly rubbish at doing things.
Yeah.
But he's still doing it, isn't he, Clarkson, with a sort of farm series, which I have nowhere near.
I avoid him. I don't know. No idea. Yeah.
There we go. So that's 10 minutes of ranting. Jesus, what have we done?
But the problem is, if you watch half an hour of these things, you're in. You're in. So you've got to avoid them. On a more positive note, I have got the kids to start watching Kath Kim. She's an absolute classic, of course. So that was the first series. The date on it was 2002. So it's 20 years ago. The first series. Yeah. Jeez. So the kids are digging that. That's very funny. You can't not like Kath Kim. Okay. Was there anything else? Because I've got a bit of admin to do as well.
All sorts. Well, yeah. I've been down a YouTube wormhole.
Sorry to hear that. That's probably how you did your shoulder in.
It's hard to get out. The YouTube wormhole of Justin Hawkins Rides Again.
Yes.
Where Justin Hawkins, a lead singer and guitarist of The Darkness, expounds almost daily which I think is part of the problem, really. It's like, oh, God, there's another 10-minute video from Justin. I'll pile in various aspects of rock music, answers questions, and entertains his subscribers, of which I am now one. And it prompted a few thoughts. It's the early aughts, or the noughties, or whatever you want to call them, was a time in music that I look back on now and think, why did I listen to those guys more than any other era in history? Kind of thing. There were an awful lot of, well, I don't know, not very good bands, let's say, in my opinion.
I think
the Strokes and people like that who are claimed as the second coming, and you now listen to them and you think, what was all the fuss about, really?
I think there's a phenomenon there you're describing. I've kind of thought about this before. Off the back of when there's a movement, in music, whatever you call it, a subculture comes up. In this case, I'm thinking Britpop. For 5 or 10 years afterwards, it's always crap, isn't it? And I think that's happened before. Like a lot of the stuff that came out after punk was a bit crap. And
maybe this is it.
I think that's it. You just get peaks and troughs, don't you, in music? I think. And the early 2000s, you're dead right. That was definitely one of those. Troughs. Yeah.
A lot of it was supposed to be the resurgence of guitar music, in which case I'm not ashamed to say I could listen to Permission to Land by the Darkness over an awful lot of albums that came out in the noughties. It's just more fun.
I mean, you had Travis, I remember, from that period, who were huge, weren't they? They were huge.
Yeah, a bit earlier.
Were they? I thought they were around about 2000. But they came. They're one of the good ones that came out the back of Britpop, I think.
I've actually seen Travis at a festival.
Yeah.
And they were surprisingly good.
Yeah, I saw them.
I thought they were okay before I saw them, and then I saw them live. I just happened to be passing by the stage, and I thought, crikey, this is great.
Yeah.
It was a massive festival, and the guitarist got up and stood on his amps at the back, which would normally be sort of a Darkness type move, let's put it that way. But when he did it,
they were a bit of a rock band.
Great about
the first album, they were a bit of a rock band. Yeah, I saw them about. Not long before I came here. So probably about 3 years ago, I saw them at the Cambridge Corn Exchange. So quite a small venue. And they were doing, must have been their 20th anniversary or something of The Man Who. So they played the whole album, The Man Who. Yeah. They were fantastic. Yeah. Well, good. I like them a lot. Carry on. Sorry.
No, that's all right. There's a huge fuss about the Darkness at one point when they covered Radiohead's Street Spirit. How dare they? Yeah. How dare they do that? But if you listen to Justin Hawkins singing and Tom York singing, they're basically the same voice. Which, incidentally, Justin Hawkins says it's not falsetto. I just sing that high. He just has a phenomenal range that allows him to get up there. But Justin Hawkins is, in fact, he's Tom York on a bit of happy juice, really. Now, don't get me wrong. I like Radiohead, but I have also descended into a bit of a Darkness rabbit hole as well. And I may well write a Darkness top 10. You're all going to hate it, I know. Because you don't really like them, do you, folks? Well, maybe you do. I don't know. Tell me.
I've got to say, I never listened to their album, never listened to their music. It was everywhere, of course, at the time, but I've never gone out and listened to their stuff. Maybe I should.
It's very good hard rock. And so it's occasionally crass and ridiculous, but hard rock is. That's what it's about.
It's got a bit of glam rock in there as well, isn't it? It's a little pinch of glam in there.
They're like the sweet of our age, let's put it that way. They all dress that way. We've got to talk about silly clothes. I'm sure there's lots of indie bands that could be mentioned that wear strange things. Who cares, really? If it's all part of putting on a show, then that's good. So, speaking of which, wearing silly clothes, just through Justin and his podcast or video log or whatever you want to call it, that he mentioned a band called the Upper Crust, who have been around since 1995, and they still do come out occasionally, and they play hard rock. Of course, they're from Boston, Massachusetts, not Lincolnshire, and they play sort of Kiss, AC/DC, Spinal Tap influenced rock, but they dress in the full 18th century garb with the powdered wigs and the satin and the breeches. It's the full Elton John at Versailles, Louis XIV look. And yet, rock like the very devil. They could be AC/DC, to be honest. Look them up, folks. We'll put some links in the show notes. There's one particular one where they're on Letterman. I think it's Letterman. It was one of those late night shows, and they can't quite believe it. The audience, you could sense there's something strange is going on here with these four bewigged chaps with SGs and Les Pauls hammering out this insane hard rock. So very funny, and also rocking, absolutely rocking.
Yeah.
I was glad to see that.
Oh, that's great. I've never. I've never really gone down.
Oh, their names. Road. Sorry, I have to tell you their names as well before you. There's four of them in the band at the moment. One of them is called Lord Bendover, Count Basie with two S's, not the jazz guy,
nice.
But the Duc Distortion with D''Extortion. Jackie Kikassis, the two previous members of the band who are not in it anymore, Lord Rockingham, of course, the Marquis de Rock.
Are these stage names or real names, do you know?
I didn't actually look to see if they were their real names. I do hope they've changed their names to be that now. You've said that. Some of the song titles as well. Once More Into the Breaches opens one of their...
Spinal Tap that. Yeah. Love it.
Yeah, it is. Let Them Eat Rock is another
perfect.
One. And the best track of all is called We're Finished with Finishing School. Listen to that one, folks. It's just marvellous. Anyhow, as you were.
Yeah.
On you go.
Marvellous. No, I was just going to say, I've never really found the energy to listen to heavy rock. I don't know why. I think I take it too seriously. Or maybe I take music too seriously. And it's just a bit of a laugh, isn't it? AC/DC and stuff. I never listened to AC/DC or anything like that. I went through a bit of a Guns N' Roses phase, talking of late 80s, early 90s, but just, don't get me wrong. I didn't dress that way. I wasn't a bogan or anything like that. But I did enjoy Appetite for Destruction immensely. But I think that's because I just got my first car at that point, and I think it was probably the only tape I had. So, we had a lot of that. But yeah, good. Oh, well, some recommendations I wasn't expecting there, Captain. Great stuff.
Yeah. See what you think, folks. You already know The Darkness. You might not know The Upper Crust.
Will soon. I know that.
Yeah. Go for it.
A little bit of admin. So the Only a Podcast mailbag has been bulging since the last episode. We've had 2 messages.
Oh. Cool.
A couple of, a recommendation from Craig. Hello, Craig. He's one of the fan base. My good mate, Craig. So he's recommended a TV show called Somebody Somewhere, which is HBO, I think, comedy drama kind of thing, I think. In New Zealand, it's on Neon. For all of our NZ listeners, I'm not sure how you can get it anywhere else around the world, but if you can check that out. If Craig recommends it, it's got to be good. And he also recommended a new album by a band called Bear's Den. Have you heard of those, Captain?
No. I did mark it for listening.
Yeah,
but I haven't actually done that.
No, I listened to it this morning. I got a feeling I might have heard of them. I'm not sure, but they're a British sort of electronic folk kind of thing. I really liked it. I played the whole. I think it's more like an EP. It's about 5 tracks, I think, but I played it the whole thing through a few times this morning. Yeah, it's good. If you think that electronic folk thing, I was getting a bit of John Grant. You know John Grant? I was getting that sort of vibes going on. So nice. Bear's Den. Thanks for that one, Craig. Cool. Good stuff. We also had in our last episode, we talked about songs that are really sad, really heartbreaking songs. And Richard Lyons on Twitter, hello Richard, came in with one, which was a good one, which was Alone Again, Naturally, Gilbert O'Sullivan.
Oh,
yeah. That's a bit of a heartbreaker. A very,
point.
Very, I think, much underrated songwriter, Gilbert O'Sullivan. He wrote some belters, didn't he? Very melancholic minor chords kind of stuff, wasn't it? A lot of it, and unique. I can't think of anyone quite like him, really, Gilbert O'Sullivan.
No, I guess the first thing that sprang to mind when you said that was that Leo Sayer kind of almost went there occasionally.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it's he may also have been underestimated because of the look he had, I think, at
it was quite stylised, wasn't it, with a flat cap and the braces and all that, yeah. Yeah, probably wasn't taken quite so seriously. He could have been the next... maybe time for a Gilbert O'Sullivan retrospective. Oh, he's still around, you know, and I heard him interviewed probably on Soda Jerker a while ago. He's still around, still going strong, old Gilbert. Cool. So, let's post up our favourite Gilbert songs. That's a bit of admin. Thanks for getting in touch. It's really good when we get some feedback from the punters. That's really good. So keep them coming, people. You talked about a YouTube wormhole you'd gone down. Any other hot new YouTube channels you've heard about in the past week or so?
Not really. No.
You sure?
Well, what have I got? Of course. that would be the only a podcast YouTube channel.
That's the chap.
Yeah. We decided to put it on YouTube because I certainly know of a couple of folks who don't really use apps that much, don't really listen on their phones. So why not? You don't want to see us. I mean, there's no video, you know.
There might be at some point in the future. I mean, there are stunning visuals.
We may do videos. We probably are going to do a sort of a trailer video to put up there for people who just turn up. If they do at that particular YouTube channel and go, what's all this about? Rather than play the rather boring trailer with no video, we might just do a video of us explaining once again what it's all about. Yeah, so that's there now. Apparently YouTube is the second most used search engine. A lot of people just go to YouTube to search. They can't read something. They've got to see a video about it. So we might get a few more hits that way. I've done it this week, polishing headlights.
Yep.
Don't YouTube polishing headlights, otherwise you'll be looking at polishing headlights video for
the rest of your life.
The rest of your life, basically. Yeah. Do you use fly spray? Do you use toothpaste? Oh dear, the things they tell you. So I've been there. But go and look at ours, for God's sake. Look at our YouTube.
Yeah, if you haven't
gone, it's an easy way to go back to previous episodes for a start. They're all there in front of you. One of these days we might might do some video, proper actual video one day. One day we might be in the same room. We're currently at opposite ends of the country. We're a plane ride from each other at the moment. So, but one day we might end up in the same room. That. Who knows? That'll be fun. So I'm writing my list out this morning of what we're going to talk about. And like I said, I've been pretty busy the last few days. I haven't got much to talk about. But we at the start of the episode, we always talk about what we had for dinner last night. So what did you have for dinner last night, Captain? Wow. It's hard to remember what I had for dinner last night, really.
Wasn't crystal meth again, was it?
No, it wasn't. It was kind of a carbonara bake thing.
Ooh.
And some veggies. It was cool.
Nice. Carbonara. Did you use fresh carbon or frozen?
I think it was fresh.
Yeah, nice.
Smelled all right.
Yeah. I did just a mixed bean chili and some flatbreads,
There you go.
Standard stuff.
So you being a vegan and all that, I still think we should do an episode on being one.
Yep, we can do that as long as I don't get preachy, because I can get preachy about it and a bit judgmental.
Yeah,
but, I'll try not to.
But that's okay.
Yeah, but I'll be happy to talk about that little journey that I'm on.
I think we could do that.
Yeah. So
that'd be good.
Yeah, I can talk about what we actually eat, because it's not all quinoa and tofu.
Yeah, we
do eat quinoa and tofu every week, probably. But,
peanut butter.
But peanut butter every day. Marmite and peanut butter. That's on toast. That's breakfast every single morning, without a doubt. Yeah, I ain't got much else to say, Captain. Have you got much more?
I've got a couple more things. Just a couple more things.
Yep.
Just a couple more things. I've started to listen very briefly to an album by a country indie pop singer called Maren Morris, Maren Morris, and she's great. I've listened to her stuff in the past and not been quite as impressed as I am by the new album, the name of which I didn't write down, so it escapes me, but it'll be there, folks. Go and look at it. I'll put a link in the show notes. I'm liking Casey Musgraves and singers like that. And Maren Morris is very much of that ilk. So slightly country, slightly pop, a bit Taylor Swifty, I guess. A bit more rootsy than Taylor, I have to say. But go there. I'll put their link up and see if you folks like it. And the only other thing I have in the tank for this particular episode is an article I read in The Guardian, to which I subscribed some time ago, and I was going to fit this one in because it reminded me of something that happened a long time ago, folks. It's about 65 years ago, in the early days of TV, every day in the UK, and TV stopped, I think, 5:30 for an hour. Was it 6:30? So you could put the kids to bed. Can you imagine that? A government-mandated TV stoppage. Right, stop that. No more having fun for the next hour. The children must go to bed now. So they did. It happened every day, and families kind of liked it. It was abolished between 6 and 7. It said, yeah, and it was only abolished when, as you can imagine, independent channels started, and ITV kicked up a fuss because they were obviously losing revenue because they couldn't put adverts in to that particular hour. You'll make us lose a lot of revenue.
Oh wow!
So we then went away. But imagine, you get through over here in New Zealand, you get your prime news early or whatever, or you're watching The Chase with Bradley Walsh, who is never off a television.
No, he isn't.
I have to say.
Yeah.
And imagine you come to the end of The Chase, and come and have a go if you think you're good enough, and all that kind of stuff, and go, and the screen goes black, and it's time. It's time to put the children to bed now. But we haven't had any dinner, Mummy. No, you're going to bed.
No, the TV man
going
said
to bed
so.
now.
Yeah.
Because TV man says so, and I have to be back by 7 in my smoking jacket with my glass of whiskey in front of the adult television.
Which would then finish at about 10 o'clock anyway, wouldn't it, with the national anthem?
I guess, yeah. Or over here it was, we could put that video up as well. They had a little video. Good Night Kiwi. The Good Night Kiwi came on for a minute or so. And a little cartoon Kiwi put himself to bed. And that's when the TV shut.
I've not seen that.
Yeah.
Good one.
Have you not?
No.
Crikey, this is part of your education, sir.
No,
you should
I don't think so.
Look up The Good Night Kiwi. It won't take long to watch.
Yeah, no, I will. You talk about Bradley Walsh never being off the telly, and I do find myself shouting at the telly sometimes, because I think, how far am I here from home? I don't know what it is, 35,000 miles or something, is it? Something like that. And I think, I've come all this way around the world, so I don't have to see the likes of fucking, pardon my French, bloody Gino Italian cook person, or some Essex
Danny
thing, or
Danny Dyer.
No, Danny's all right. He's West Ham. Danny's all right. But all these no marks, I can't stand them. Yeah, this I don't know. The blonde one off of the Essex thing, Gemma something. And they're all
cheap,
they're all on my
TV.
Yeah, they just import
they are.
all the crap. You get some of the good stuff from UK over here on telly, but you get all the crap as well. So, there's no escaping it all. But what can I say? I watch Married at First Sight Australia, so who am I to judge?
That's true. But at one point, it was wall-to-wall Bradley Walsh, because you had The Chase, and then you had Breaking Brad, or whatever it was called, Breaking Dad.
Yep.
And then Bradley Walsh's Darling Buds of May, or whatever.
That's right.
Bradley Walsh's Darling Buds. How dare he misappropriate?
Yeah. Hop Larkin. Yeah.
Yeah.
And there was also, didn't he do a variety show kind of thing, song and dance kind of Saturday night, shiny floor kind of show. I think he did something like that. Was on as well. So
and you get Doctor Who reruns. Doctor Who reruns as well.
There's a lot of Bradley on over here.
There is.
Yeah. Could be worse.
Don't get me started.
No.
Well, you already have.
Yes. Okay, I think we're done, are we?
Right. I think we're done for this one. Yeah.
Good one.
That's cool.
Yeah, all right. Well, thanks for listening, everyone. Stay in touch. Anything you agree with that was said, that's good. Anything you disagree, let us know. Recommendations, comments, keep them coming. Okay, folks, thanks for listening. We'll see you next time. See you, bye.
Bye. You've been listening to Only a Podcast. If you'd like to get in touch and share your feedback and ideas, we'd love to hear from you. Go to onlyapodcast.com, or you can find us at Only a Podcast on Twitter and Instagram, or via our Facebook page. Remember, it's only a podcast.